Okay, my name is Jay Conrad. I'm a product manager from LATICRETE International. My colleague, Kurt Weber, is a sales rep from the Virginia, Washington, D.C. area. If you have any questions afterwards you'd like to ask us, come find us. We'll be in our booth, which is basically right behind you. We can help answer any questions that you might have. So today what we're going to be talking about is floor heat products. Okay, our product is specifically a electric radiant floor heat products. There are other floor heat products out in the market like hydronic heat, that type of thing. But our product that we have here is very innovative, and it is an electric radiant floor heat product. Okay, so why would you want to use electric radiant floor heat? Well, you can use electric radiant floor heat on any type of installation where you're putting tile and stone. You can use it under wood, vinyl, those types of products also, but because we are selling into the tile and stone market, that's specifically what this is designed for. Where would you like to put electric radiant floor heat? You can put electric radiant floor heat in bathrooms, foyers, kitchens, additions that go on your house. I've had people that have put it into basements, slab on grade. They put it in their basement because they don't have any heat down there. They may have a forced hot air system. They don't want to change all the ductwork for the basement, so they will put an electric radiant system in the basement. Goes in very nicely. What we do recommend when you put it on slab on grade though, is that you use a 1/4-inch hydroband board as an insulator between the concrete and the wire installation. It basically saves heat up time about 75%. The ramp up time is much faster, much easier to get everything up to temperature, and it'll save you over years as you go through and pay for the board in probably 2 years when you do that type of installation. We're using the board here just as a part of the demonstration so we don't have to throw the whole mock-up away afterwards, but typically you would only really need it when you do concrete on grade type of installation. So the Strata heat system is basically made up of 4 different types of products. We have the Strata heat mat, which Kurt is in the process of installing right now. We have the Strata heat wire, which we'll talk a little bit more about. Strata heat thermostats, which we have a programmable thermostat right here. And then we also have the Strata heat thermal pack, which helps thermal diffusion of the heat going through the thin set into the tile. Okay, so the Strata heat mat comes in 2 different SKUs. It comes in a roll that is 150 square feet. It's 46 something long by 39 inches high. And then we also sell it in sheets. We have 29 by 30 inch sheets that we sell. So it's about 8.2 square feet per sheet, and there's 10 sheets per box, so you get about 82 square feet per box. The average size of a bathroom, if you're doing installations, is somewhere around 80 square feet. So if you're doing that type of installation, you would probably purchase it in a box. If you're doing larger installations like a kitchen or a basement, something like that, you would probably purchase it in a roll configuration. The Strata heat mat is an uncoupling mat also, and being an uncoupling mat, it separates out the stresses in the substrate from the tile so you don't end up with cracked tile. Ours is patented and has hydration vents, which helps with the thin set drying, okay, and we also have coverage verification because of the opacity of the mat itself. You can see if you don't have any coverage underneath. Did you happen to leave an area with poor thin set coverage that we can look at, or did you cover the whole thing? That corner right there? So you should be able to see in that corner right through the mat that there's no thin set coverage underneath that corner. Okay, so that's the Strata heat mat. Kurt is now going to install the Strata heat wire. Strata heat wire, you have 2 copper conductors, very conductive materials inside. Those 2 copper conductors are wrapped with a Teflon material on the outside of them, and then have a braided ground sheathing around the outside of that with a PVC coating in order to make it a very strong, flexible type wire. Okay, our wires, basically what he's showing you is the cold lead going up into, which would go up into the electrical box during the installation. And this electrical box installation is basically what the National Electrical Code says you have to do. You're supposed to have 2 hard conduits, one for the wire and one separate for the thermostat sensor, okay, going into a junction box, okay? That's the National Electrical Code, but you should always check with your local electrical code to make sure you're following the instructions that they have. Okay, so our wire comes in 30 different SKUs. We have 120 and 240 volt SKUs, so there's 15 of each. And they're anywhere from 7 feet to 833 feet, and you can cover from 3 square feet out to 333 square feet. Okay, depending on what type of peg spacing you use during the installation. So it's very flexible. You can do your runs as long as you want with our wire. There's no reason that you have to do a jog in order to keep the conductivity of the wire. So if you want, you can just go to town and go as straight as you can go. So Kurt's basically going back and forth with a 3 peg spacing, which is standard spacing for wire in our industry. If you have a heat sink, such as concrete, where you don't have any insulator, you may want to go a little bit closer. You can do a 2-3 spacing as you go. You can do a 2 peg spacing, which is pretty standard. And one of the things about our wire, have we gotten to the center yet?
Nope, not yet.
So just to make it more difficult for Kurt, I'll unravel it. Our wire has a white notch tape in the center. So when you get to the center, you see that white notch, you basically want to step back and take a look at what your installation looks like and make sure that you've covered half your floor, okay? If you're off, you can always, if it's going to be too short at the end, you go to a 3-4 spacing or a 4 peg spacing. It'll still heat up the floor. It may be a little bit longer for a heat up time in that area. Okay, our wire comes with a thermal sensor for the thermostat. Do you have your thermostat sensor over there? Okay, so this wire would go up through the small conduit, and you can see how small the actual probe is for this. Okay, so this fits right in between the pegs in the mat itself. You don't have to cut anything out to put that in. It just fits right in very nicely. Okay, we supply a thermal sensor in with the wire, and we supply a thermal sensor in with our thermostat also. Okay, the recommendation is to install both of them. Okay, you hook one of the sensor wires up to the thermostat, leave the other one loose inside the junction box, just in case down the road you get a failure per chance. You'll always have one that you can just disconnect one and hook the other one up. If you just want to pass it around so they can take a look at it, that would be great. Okay, so we're almost done with installing the wire. Kurt's all the way down to the end. So the third part of our system is the Strata heat thermostat. Okay, we have 2 different types of thermostats, a Wi-Fi thermostat capability and a just plain programmable. Okay, both of these you can do off a touch screen. On the back side of our area over here, there's an actual thermostat that's hooked up. You can go through the programming if you want. But it's basically a touch screen programmable thermostat. The uniqueness is in our Wi-Fi thermostat, okay? Our Wi-Fi thermostat is just like it says. You can hook it up through Wi-Fi. You can hook it up to any type of smartphone, okay? Program it into your smartphone. It has GPS location service with your smartphone. So you hook it up into your smartphone, you program it into that capability. When you leave your house, it actually senses how far away from your house you are and the power will decline to the floor heat as you get away from the house, and it will get cooler until it shuts off. At the end of the day, you come home from work, you're coming back into your house, it will again sense where you are, and as you get closer to your home, it'll turn the power back on, and when you get home, it'll be fully heated up for when you get home. Okay? This also acts as a picture frame. You can take a picture and put any picture on here that you want. You don't have to look at the numbers if you don't want. So it's very nice that way. And this also will learn your routine, saving you another 25% in your electrical bill. Okay, so there's two thermostats. And like I said, the thermostat comes with a sensor wire, and so does the wire. Okay, so for the last part of the package, we have what we call the Strata Heat Thermal Pack. The Strata Heat Thermal Pack is an additive that gets added into the thin set, and this makes your thin set more thermally conductive. It has thermal heat diffusion technology, basically what we call it, and this increases, again, your diffusion of your heat by 25%, and down the road, here again, you save 15% on your electrical bill. So we have multiple ways of saving costs through electricity by using an insulator board underneath, using the wire in combination with the thermostats and the thermal pack, and very easy to get a quick payback on what you're purchasing. So the thermal pack is put in a bag, and this bag is like a Cellusolve type bag. So basically when you're going to mix it up, you take the bag and you put it into the water, give it a couple minutes. I think Kirk has it down to the exact second. How many? 21 seconds. 21 seconds, he says. I think he's done this a few times, so he's actually timed it. So once the bag starts dissolving, you'll start to see the water turning very dark. Okay, so it is a dark product. You mix it with a gray thin set. It's going to make the gray thin set a little bit darker. So if you're using a light colored tile, you're going to want to test it with that tile in order to make sure that it's not going to stain or anything like that, okay? Okay, so that whole package, you use that whole package together with the LATICRETE thin set and grout, and you will get a lifetime warranty on that installation. Okay, so that's pretty much our presentation today for the Strata Heat products. If anyone has any question, give me a raised hand. We'll see what we can do for answering your question.
What size thickness of board are you using here?
Oh, the board, the question is what size thickness board. This is a 1/4 inch board. That's pretty much all you need. It reduces your ramp up time for the temperature over concrete by 75%. You can use a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch, but the cost savings that you get from it aren't as dramatic just going to the 1/4 inch. So basically you only need to use a 1/4 inch board when you're doing that. Any other questions? Okay, so the question was in waterproof areas. Another feature of the Strata Heat wire is that you can also use the Strata Heat wire in showers. Okay, so it's not a big deal doing it in showers. What the recommendation is when you do it in shower is that you would run one wire for the area in the bathroom, put another wire in the shower, and we talked about the square footage that the wires come in and everything, so you should be able to size it appropriately for that shower. And the recommendation is that the cold lead, Kurt, can you hold up that cold lead on there? The cold lead on the end of the wire is 12 feet long. So you should easily be able to position your thermostat to hook up with the room wire and to also hook up with the wire that you would put in your shower. You really don't want to go up and over a curb with it because you're going to be taking a right angle bend, and you could create a hot spot by doing that, have a chance of getting it nicked, and you really don't want to do that. So the recommendation is to use a separate wire for the room and the shower itself, okay? The thing that you have to watch out for is the thermostats are rated for 15 amps. So there's a tag on each wire. Kurt's gonna show you here in a second. There's a tag on the wire that will tell you what the resistance is of the wire, what the amperage is of that specific wire. So when you put two wires together to one thermostat, you want to make sure that those two wires don't exceed 15 amps. If they do exceed 15 amps, and that would probably more likely be on a 240 volt type installation, you would have to get your electrician to install a relay that would talk to the thermostat to bring the wires into the relay, and then two more wires going into the thermostat for signal. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Like I said, our booth is right behind you. We have a couple of different areas where the Strata heat is shown there. There's power to an actual thermostat. If you want to look at it and press the buttons on it, you can do that. And if you just want to ask us any questions, you're more than welcome to stop us and ask us whatever you want. Thank you very much.